In this video, we will go over 3 moments in this film where Godzilla would have deleted Kong from the Monsterverse. We will go over a lot of details, so make sure you stick around until the end. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel. 90% of our viewers aren't subscribed yet.
What is this? Are you people kidding me? What is this? How are you guys not subscribed to the Goji Center so far? What do you do with your lives? Where do you get your kaiju information from?
Yeah, what he said. Goji Center now presents Godzilla vs. Kong without the plot armor. Let's quickly get us all up to speed with what happened in Hong Kong. First, Godzilla is attracted by a familiar acoustic signal, blows a hole through the earth, Kong crawls out of it, they both smash things, Godzilla flips Kong, Ninja Monkey survives a game of intense laser tag, and then repeatedly disrespects Godzilla with stuff made out of his own species. So, as you can imagine, this guy is now pissed, and it shows, ultimately leading to this moment. Now, the official novelization hints that Kong almost dared Godzilla to go ahead and finish him. This final act of defiance was probably something Godzilla had never seen before. So the G-Man let him keep his dignity and let him die in peace, since he was going to die anyway. But what if Godzilla actually followed up with this dare? Perhaps the most humiliating way to go in the Monsterverse would be the widely known kiss of death. This is where a Titan with a special ability blasts a projectile through the opponent's oral orifice. This results in immediate decapitation and, consequently, certain death. Back to this scene. In this scenario, Godzilla decides to humiliate his rival and blasts Kong in the face. These high temperatures would quickly burn through Kong's outer layers of flesh, revealing a burnt skull underneath. This would be painful in the first couple of seconds, but then quickly turn into third-degree burns. In some cases, third-degree burns cannot even be felt due to the damaged nerves that can no longer feel the pain. At this point, Kong is already dead, and Godzilla victorious. The Titanus Gojira species. Please note that we will be specifically talking about the Monsterverse incarnation of Godzilla, but that doesn't mean we can't grab evidence from past films. Throughout the G-Man's cinematic history, we have only seen Godzilla leave behind offspring a few times by laying eggs. One thing to note is that Godzilla doesn't really mate with other Godzilla species. This is because almost every incarnation of Godzilla has been capable of breeding asexually. Put simply, asexual reproduction does not require a male and a female. Reproduction can be accomplished by just one individual. This concept has been seen in many other different universes, including the popular Jurassic World franchise. In the Netflix show Camp Cretaceous, we see the Scorpius Rex literally duplicate itself over a small period of time. The same can apply to our Monsterverse Godzilla. An interesting take from this comes from some information about the use of Godzilla's character in GVK. Toho stated that Godzilla cannot die in GVK, but if he absolutely has to die, he must have left behind a successor. So let's pretend that Legendary made an outrageous decision to kill off Godzilla in GVK. They would have had to add an additional Gojira infant in this franchise, which proves that Monsterverse Godzilla is in fact a Titan that can reproduce asexually. Now let's get down to the juicy details. This form of asexual reproduction is known as parthenogenesis, which is basically a form of reproduction in which an egg develops into a clone of the parent without being fertilized. If Godzilla ever decides to leave behind his successor, he would just simply lay an already fertilized egg. This offspring will hatch and eventually grow to be an exact replica of the G-Man himself. In the real natural world, female Komodo dragons are also capable of doing this when needed. Having said this, it is now obvious that the G-Man does not have the need to carry reproductive organs. No dick, no balls, and probably no butthole since this guy feeds on radiation. In conclusion, both the Kong and Godzilla species are titans that share absolutely nothing in common when it comes to reproduction. Kong breeds like us, sexually, requiring a female and male to create offspring. Godzilla, on the other hand, does not require a mate and is capable of breeding using the power of parthenogenesis. No genitals needed. Godzilla has sure done some crazy stuff in the past. For a Titan with no testicles, this guy sure does carry a huge pair. A new mechanized Titan. That's right, guys. This episode of A Homicidal Mech might just happen again.
Bruh.
Note that the most important components of this weapon were the two skulls, each housed in the mech itself and the control room. These communicated telepathically via psionic uplink, which was commanded by the pilot Ren Serizawa. After Kong finally put this robot out of commission, this skull, and maybe the skull housed inside the mech's head, weren't completely destroyed. Yeah, the actual neurologic matter is still there, meaning that it theoretically could be used again to build another Mechagodzilla.
Bruh.
But why stop there? We just discussed that there could also be more skulls waiting to be found, courtesy of Kevin's recklessness. Enough skulls to build Mecha Ghidorah, a Titan composed of ancient heads brought back to life against the G-Man.
What the?
This may be hard to believe, but the novelization of King of the Monsters hints at there being more of these guys somewhere, or at least gives us that idea. In the field notes of Dr. Ling Chen, we find this excerpt. It is said that he came from another place, the sky maybe, a star, that he was a younger son that would not inherit territory, so he came here to find his own. This basically implies a few things. In order to be a younger son, you also need to have older siblings, meaning more Ghidorahs and parents.
You serious?
Another implication is that these go out and claim their own territories or planets, and our Monster Zero just happened to pick the wrong one. After getting clapped so many times, it's no wonder that a future Ghidorah would want some hard-earned revenge. Admittedly, this concept is a bit outlandish for this universe, but the point remains. If the Monsterverse continues, so should Ghidorah. It is not surprising that the creators of this universe still to this point refuse to put a definitive end to this monster. After what we learned today, it is evident that completely finishing off Ghidorah is almost impossible. Its body can be destroyed, but its memories and its purpose will always exist. By this definition, Ghidorah is not a physical kaiju made of flesh and bone. Ghidorah is a conscience.
Bruh.
A menace forever haunting Godzilla.